Okay, time for the introduction to today's red lip. And as you can see, I'm wearing it, and this is the finished look. Now, I'm going to be doing this in a little bit of a chronological order this week. So, the background behind this red lip, which is a combination of MAC red lip liner and Viva Glam 4 red lipstick over the top. So, as some of you have been following my journey, you will remember that I said that about 3 years ago, I suffered about depression as a result of the fact that my mobility was deteriorating very, very quickly. And I came to a point where it got so bad that I needed to start using a mobility scooter. And I had gone through, during that sort of time of depression, I basically stopped wearing makeup. I stopped doing anything because I felt pretty invisible. And I thought, what's the point? And as I was trying to dig myself out of this very deep hole that I'd got myself into mentally, and come to terms with the changes that were going on, I had some awareness that I needed to kind of pick myself up somehow. And makeup had always been something that I'd like to put on. I'd done some training in applying makeup and stage makeup years before. I'd also been an Avon rep when I was 14 to earn some extra money to buy a car. And my mum had to stand for guarantor. So I was into makeup, but I'd stopped using it. And I thought, okay, let's see if I can get some enthusiasm going for makeup. And this was before I discovered our friend Charlotte Tilbury. So I remember going out to Mac, and I was on my mobility scooter, and it was probably the first couple of weeks using a mobility scooter and feeling pretty yuck, feeling pretty invisible, like nobody could see me. They're all looking at their mobile phones and people can't see you coming along, and felt invisible. And I thought, okay, I need to do something positive here. And it's that first step of trying to do something positive. So I went into Mac, and I remember it was a really small shop. It wasn't the one in London. It was in Basildon, a really small shop. And I just felt like I was in everyone's way because it was quite crowded. There were people leaning over me to look at lipsticks. And I felt I really shouldn't be here. And I nearly turned round. I was about to turn round and try and get out the door because I just thought I'm in everyone's way and what's the point? I still was in that mindset. But luckily this makeup artist saw me and she said, "Can I help you, madam?" And I said, "I wonder if you can. I've got a bit of a strange request and you're probably going to think I'm a bit mad." And she said, "I'm sure I'm not." She said, "Go on, go for it." And I said, "You see this scooter that I'm sitting in, this mobility scooter?" I said, "Would you be able to match a lipstick to it?" And I said, "Because I want to match my lips to my mobility scooter." I thought it was kind of a statement. It was a little idea I'd come up with. And she said, "We can match anything here." She said, and she seemed to get it immediately. And I said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm in the way here." She said, "No, you're not. You're not in the way." I said, "Stop that." And you could see on her face that she got it. She realised what I was trying to do. And so off she went, and you could see she was filled with such enthusiasm. And she was off, and she said, "Just stay there." She said, I'm just going to do a bit of searching for you." And so she went, she was getting lipsticks. No. And she was looking back at my scooter. No. No. And she said, hang on. And then she picked up something else and something else. And anyway, eventually she came back. She says, "I've got it." She said, "What does this look like?" She said, "That looks like it, doesn't it?" And it was this. Now, this was long before metallic lipsticks were all in. Hi, Jack. And my mobility scooter is red metallic, and I'm going to show you a picture of it at the end, and me sitting on it with this lipstick. So there were no metallic lipsticks at the time because they just weren't in. So she had to mix to get to this colour. And I will show you in the video that actually since then a colour has come out that in one lipstick matches it perfectly. But she had to mix, and basically she mixed a lip liner and a lipstick together in order to get something that was pretty close to the red metallic mobility scooter. So I wish I had taken her name. But if you work in Basildon Mac and you remember me, it was a while ago. I just want to say thank you very much, because you started me on that journey. It didn't really enthuse me at the time, and it took my next journey with Charlotte Tilbury, which is going to follow shortly, to really pull me in. But it got me on that road back, and it got me to look at makeup videos and try and get that passion going again. So thank you if you recognise yourself as the MAC makeup artist that day, because you went some way to helping me. So today's look is using MAC lip liner in red, which is 2Ds, followed by Viva Glam 4. And incidentally, if you want to buy Viva Glam 4, you will also be helping another charity, which is a charity that supports people with AIDS, by buying the lipstick. So all of the Viva Glam lipsticks, a certain percentage of the money goes to that charity. So if you like the lipstick and you want to support Shine and you buy the lipstick, you'll be supporting 2 charities. Okay, thanks for watching this and enjoy the video. So let's get started with this look, shall we? And incidentally, before I start, I'm still in my pyjama bottoms, but I've got to show you this top. Hang on. There we go. Spina Bifida messed with the wrong girl. I nearly said chick because I've got one with chick on as well. And I'll be getting a lot of use out of this red headband this week. So first up, I'm going in with some strobe cream in Peach Light, which you will have seen me using this base on my live last week, which was actually only yesterday because I'm filming ahead. But I'm sticking to MAC today as I'm using a MAC lipstick. And then I shall be using my MAC Pro Longwear Waterproof Foundation in NC35. So as I've explained, I'm filming this ahead, so I'm still laid up with my foot, and hopefully by the time this goes out, it will be healed. Fingers crossed. You'll probably know more than I do right now when you watch this. But this is an issue that is relevant to Spina Bifida, because a lot of people with Spina Bifida have issues with their feet. Number of reasons. Firstly, because of the neurological deficit, often people with Spina Bifida are born with foot deformities. Some people like myself are also born with a foot deformity, which you will probably know as clubfoot, which you can have without Spina Bifida. And incidentally, my son had, which is why he had treatment on his foot, but he doesn't have Spina Bifida. And but the complication with Spina Bifida is it makes it more complicated to correct. because whereas when you have club foot, and it's called talipes, that's the more politically correct term. I'll give you a funny story about that soon. But it makes it easy to correct when someone's born with club foot in terms of the anatomy. They know how to treat that now. But when it's caused by a neurological deficit, it's always more complicated to correct, because it's not actually caused by just a change in the anatomy of the foot. It's caused by the neurological supply to that foot. So you can manipulate the anatomy, but you can't do anything about the neurological supply. So it tends to be a lot more difficult to correct and resistant to correction. And obviously mine was treated a long time ago, and mine was quite resistant to correction. My son's has been corrected, which is great. So you have the foot deformities, and then you have lack of sensation to the feet and legs. Some really, you see, I smile when I talk about this, and this is going to make it look like I'm sick. Right, I'm just going to go in with the concealer, which I've got a little pot of Pro Longwear concealer in NC30 that was given to me as a sample from Mac. I don't have their Pro Longwear concealer, but I wanted to try it out, so I was given a little pot to try, and I'm just going to put that under here. Couple of things. You see, I smile because I've got no sensation, so I've got no memory of having much sensation in my feet. But a couple of things. One time I woke up and my foot was on a radiator, which was on, and the thing that woke me up was the smell. I know, sorry, I won't go too graphic because you'll all tune out. And another time I put my foot in a boot, and obviously my toe had got caught up in the lining, unbeknown to me. And I thought, why is my boot not going on? And gave it an extra hard pull, and I heard crack, and broke my toe. And thankfully I heard the crack before I did any more damage. But the reason we laugh, it's a kind of, obviously it's a nervous laugh, but it's also because everybody, when people with spina bifida tell stories like that, everybody goes, ouch, which of course you do, because you have a memory of what it would feel like for that to happen to your foot, whereas we don't. And I know that it's very difficult for people to imagine what that must be like. So, for example, the doctor that was treating me for the broken toe, he was really, really understanding, and he said, let me show you the x-ray, because I can see it's quite scary when you don't know. I was actually panicking because I didn't know how much damage I'd caused. And of course, because you don't have that sensation, you have no idea of whether or not it's a small break, a big break, and it sounded horrific. So I was panicking, and the doctor was really sensitive all the way through. He said, let me show you the x-ray so you can see. It probably doesn't look as bad as it sounded, and it didn't. He was right. Really, really empathetic all the way through the consultation. And on the way out, he said, come back next week if it still hurts. And as he said it, I turned around and said, but it doesn't hurt now. And he went, oh yeah, well, come back next week if I tell you what, just go and see your GP next week, because everybody's attuned to your body giving you those sensations. And it is a scary thing when you don't get that sensation, and you have to rely on your eyes and your ears. And thankfully my ears were pretty attuned to that at the time, even though I was in a terrible rush. So yeah, just because this is an awareness week, I won't make it all really gruesome for you guys. But because it's awareness week, just telling you a little bit about conditions. But so it does make it very difficult dealing with foot problems, because you often don't know about a blister turns into an ulcer, and you don't know about it until it's really bad. And that's why it can be, and then lack of circulation means you're more likely to get infections. So a lot of people like myself, it's not unbeknown to spend days in hospital on IV antibiotics, because by the time it's discovered, and it's not because of lack of vigilance, sometimes a pressure sore can develop right under the skin and there is no outward signs. One outward sign I got once was I saw a red line going up my leg. I thought, what's that red line? I had no idea what it was because I'm not a doctor. And I didn't know that there was anything going wrong in my foot. And the first thing I saw was the red line. And it was actually the infection tracking up towards my lymph nodes. So you do have to learn about foot health and become a bit of an expert over the years about what to look out for, because it's not always a blister on your toe. Anyway, let me go and get my powder. I've got this concealer palette, so I'm just going to do a bit of spot concealing, and I promise you no more gory things about Spina Bifida, because you really don't, you'll all be tuning out if I carry on. So funny stories, if anything. I am just going to go round this thing here, because it's got a bit of a blue tinge to it. I'm just going to go round with a bit of orange corrector and just pat that into my skin first, and then put some concealer. That is my shade. I'm just going to go around there and do my normal little spot corrections where I don't have spots, as you know, but I do have pigmentation, my little thread veins. I'm going to put a little bit extra of cream concealer in a warmer shade, just to balance that out, because it's looking a bit too stark. So this one is NW25. I love playing with concealers. And when you're doing a red lip, this is something Daniel Sandler, I think I heard him say. When you're doing a red lip, you do need quite a clean complexion. So that's not to say slap it on, but you do need to kind of, a red lip, a bold red lip is going to show up imperfections on your skin a bit more. And I definitely heard him say that, and I wish I could remember where, but I definitely heard him say it. And I'm now just going to lightly powder over with this Studio Fix foundation powder in a warmer tone to take the yellow hue, because I am, as I've said to you before, I am olive, but not very olive. I'm half Indian, and the other half of me is my mum, who was quite fair. Just balances it out. And this powder balancing trick I picked up from Pixie Woo, and it's been a real game changer. Pixie Woo Sam was talking about this, because often NC used to wash me out, and I saw her putting this on her daughter. She put an NC foundation, and then she used an NW powder to set it, and I thought, yep, that's what I need, and it works. Can you see how that's just warmed me up a bit? It's about getting used to your skin tones, as I've said before. I'm not going to put that under my eyes. I am going to use something a little bit lighter under my eyes. I'm just going to get it. Okay, I'm diverting slightly away from MAC, and I'm just going to use some Becca under eye setting powder, because what I like about this is it's so finely milled. I just make sure that I just go over this with my fingers to make sure that it's very pressed into the skin and it doesn't settle into fine lines before I put the powder on. And then it's nice and merged with my skin. And then I take a little bit in the lid and tap it off. And my little tip that I picked up, I say it's my tip, it's not my tip, but everyone has to learn from someone. I picked this up from Sari Rihanna. Thank you, Sari Rihanna, if you ever watch this, about going against the grain of your lines. And it really works. It makes sure that the powder goes into the lines and doesn't settle around them, which is what shows up creasing. Sort of like going against the grain a bit. And it works. Certainly works for me. Okay, and as you can see, that kind of just brightens up, and you can just put a little bit down the centre of your face as well, just to give you a little bit more of a highlight. There we go. Now with red lips, you don't want to be going mad on your eyeshadow, so I'm going to be using some lovely shades from MAC that look lovely with red lipstick. I'll be right back. Okay, I love using these shades. One, because they last. These are the Pro Longwear MAC paint pots. And most makeup artists will have definitely heard of them, if not got them in their kit. And I keep them in their boxes so they don't dry up, and they keep for a long time. And I have a little sticker maker, which basically enables me to see what shades I've got very easily when I'm reaching for them. So I love these two, which are Laying Low, which is this one. Okay, and Quite Natural, which is... Now, you can use these on their own, one of these, but I'm going to use both of them just to show you. Okay, and that's Quite Natural. So I'm going to put Laying Low all over the lid and blend it up. Okay, I'm using a Real Techniques brush. I don't know what, this is one of a special edition one. I've lost my purple eye blending brush at the moment, so but this one's just as good for it. So I'm just dipping that into the pot, and then I'm just going to buff that into the lid. And as you can see, it almost, for me, it's almost, I've often thought with this eyeshadow, this matte paint pot, that I should use this as a primer rather than the one that they often use, Soft Ochre, because it just almost looks like my lid colour. But it just evens out my skin tone and just makes it look more uniform. And you really don't want to go, there are a few options that you can do with red lipstick, so I will be going through that this week. But what you don't want is sort of really intricate eye looks with a red lip, because your statement is the red lip. I'm going to just put a little bit underneath all the way across. Just to cancel down, it seems a bit silly to be cancelling down taupiness and then adding a bit, but again, it's about making it sort of a bit more uniform rather than applying colour. See, I've kind of got a natural taupiness under my eyes, which I could have kept there. but just to cancel it out a little bit before I add colour. So you basically need to make sure that that's nicely buffed in. And these are so easy because once they set, they don't budge. And then I'm going to take quite natural, and I'm going to apply it very quickly with a smaller brush and then blend it out, because what I want to do is do my tucking it in the corner and into the crease. But I often just put laying low on, or just this on my lids. You don't need both, but... And then quickly, before it dries down, give that a good old blend. I'm just grabbing that because as you get older, your eyes do get a bit, they drag as you're blending certainly cream products in, and it just enables you to blend a little bit better and not drag your eyes too much. Okay, you see how that's just added a little bit more depth, and I might just tuck a tiny bit more into the corner and just blend it with the pencil brush, which is going to give it a bit more intensity. So it kind of gradually diffuses out. Starts off darker and it gradually diffuses out, like so. Alright, so I'm going to do that on the other side. This one I always find easier to do because I can kind of see the shape more. Seems to be less hooded somehow. And I could, it's always been the case. I've always had hooded lids, and it's always, this side has always been easier. And that's often the case. And I'm not taking it all the way across because this will blend all the way across. Can you see it's gone up to there? So again, just pulling the eye across to make it taut so I'm not dragging it. And fingers, when in doubt, fingers never fail. And then with that pencil brush, I may even have enough, but I'm just going to dip it slightly, and I want to then bring that underneath. And always remember to try and link up to the upper lid. Can you see how that just opens up the eyes? Okay. And then I'm going to put a little bit of nude eyeliner. I'm going to use an Estee Lauder one today. I've got, as you know, I've got a Charlotte Tilbury one, which I like, but it can come across a little bit, it's quite light. The Estee Lauder one looks a little bit more natural. I'm trying to stick to the brands as much as I can, but obviously I don't have all products in all brands, but I do happen to know that MAC do a selection of these skin coloured eye pencils, and you can use them also for kind of touch-up concealing and everything else, and they do them in like NC shades and NW shades, so do check them out. But today I'm using this one, and it's called the Estee Lauder the Eye Lighting Multitasker. So on one end it's got a skin coloured pencil, and the other side it's got a brush, and then in the middle it's got a kind of peachy highlighter kind of highlighter. It's very, very handy, so I will show you how I use that. So first of all, Now you can use this on your waterline. You can also use this as a spot concealer if you're that fair. So it's not quite as bright as Charlotte's. And I don't want it too bright. I just want it to open up my eyes. It will fade a bit. So it'll always look a bit brighter when you put it on. And that's any eyeliner. But this is I think this is a double wear one. Is it? Oh, it doesn't say double wear, but they normally Estee Lauder last quite a long time. Okay, and so then I have got I'm going to put this here, and I'm just going to tuck this under the brow bone, blend that out with my fingers, then dip it back in, tuck that under there, and then I'm going to use this I love for this because it just fits in there so nicely and tidily, and just brightens up that inner corner of the eye. It's like it was made for it. Okay, so now all that remains is for me to do my brows and my lashes, and you all know, there can be no doubt for any of you that watch me on a regular basis, that you all know what my favourite mascara is, without a doubt, because I use it almost every day, and that is MAC Upward Lash. And I have not found a mascara that I like as much as that. So that is what I'm going to put on. So I will show you that, and I will also show you a MAC brow product that I have. Okay, I'm going to do my brows first. This gadget I have had from MAC for years. I love it. It often goes around in my little brush kit from Charlotte Tilbury's. It's got a lash comb one side and a brush. And the comb is actually really good for combing through your mascara, your lashes, if your mascara clumps. Could probably do with giving my brows a bit of a trim, but never mind. And I'm going to use this product, which I haven't been using for a while actually, but I must use it because it is good. And it is the MAC, what do they call it? Shape and Shade Brow Tint. Okay, so what it is it's got a pen one side, and then on the other side it has a smudger, so you can kind of fill in with the smudger, but you can get really hair-like strokes with this side. The only thing I don't like about pens, I love the fact that they can give you a really fine line, but I found this with every single pen I've tried, that basically the law of gravity means that in order for the ink to keep running, it needs to be down. And when you're doing your eyebrows, it's not always down. And then the ink starts to run out because, like now, I've got it, like I couldn't use a felt tip pen like that. And you can't use for very long before the ink starts to run out. So there's one eyebrow that you're actually pointing it upwards, and you have to keep shaking it down. But I do love the fact that you can get really hair-like, especially this bit where it gets, and on that one where it gets sparse at the end, really hair-like strokes. And then where you've got a few more holes, not that I've got more patchiness on that side than this, but then you can just go over with this and just fill it in. Now I'm going to wait for that to dry down because it's a little bit more wet than some other brow products, and I'll come back and I'll brush that out. So again, with my brush, just brush up here, and you can see where I need the hair-like strokes. I'm going to have to do it this way, but hopefully the ink won't dry up because I'm holding it upside down. And you see how great that is at looking like hair rather than a block of colour. The only problem is that when I fill in this brow, it always looks higher than the other. And it's always been the same. They're not twins, but mine are half sisters, I think. My brows. I think they've only got one parent in common. Okay, and then I just go back through with the brush. I'll do this side and hopefully try and brush it up a bit to match the other one. Okay, that's my brows done, and then mascara, up with lash, of course. Mac, if you're watching this, and maybe you are because it's Awareness Week and I've made a thing of it, please don't discontinue up with lash. Just advertise it more if it's not selling. It's marvellous. It's the only one. I can't find anything to beat it. Now, I've got long lashes, but they grow straight out. And what I love about this is it really curls them up. And it never captures it as much on video as it does in real life. But believe me, it is superb. Can you see that? You are now starting to see my lashes. It is fantastic. And the wand is brilliant at getting in to the corners. But I've heard it's being discontinued. Please don't discontinue it. I've got a spare just in case, but I love it. See the difference? See those lashes? See those lashes? Non-existent lashes. Underneath. Did I do this one underneath? I don't think I did I? Right, let's get on with this look. We're nearly done. I'm going to put a bit of bronzer on, and I'm going to use this, which some of you know I got recently. Thanks to Pixie Woo, Sam of Pixie Woo sold it to me. And I love it because it just looks natural. And of course, a Real Techniques brush to try it out with. So I'm just going to use some of this bronzer from the bottom here. And I just love the look of this on my skin. It's just fabulous. Across my nose. Sorry about the lighting in here today. It's dreadful, I know. It's very dark in the UK. And then I'm going to put a bit of... I'm going to use this one at the end, which sort of looks... You can't see, but it sort of looks a bit peachy. I'm going to put that over where my hyperpigmentation is, because it's got a bit of a peachy tone to it. And then I'm going to put the lightest one to highlight. But it's not an in-your-face highlighter, and I don't want it to be, because I want the red lip to say it all. Okay, So now, finally, for the red lip, that matches Smarty. I meant to tell you in the introduction that Smarty's the name of my mobility scooter, as named by Jack, but it's also the name of the model of my scooter. That's what I'm going to do next. Now, I must tell you that after this was matched, before I put this on, metallic lipsticks became all the rage, and Mac brought out this one, and I got 2 of them so that I didn't run out, because it was a limited edition, and this one's called In Retrograde, and this is true metallic red. You cannot see it in this light, come on, it's too dim, but it is. But you have to trust me that it is a metallic red. Okay, I think you can probably see it inside the tube better than on my arm. And that was called In Retrograde, and it is lovely, and that matches my scooter perfectly. But I'm sticking to the one that was originally matched for me by the lovely lady, and I wish I'd kept her name. So I'm first putting on red lip pencil, and it's red with 2 D's. Now, if you worry about putting red lipstick on and about your hand being steady, says she's probably going to mess it up, you put your little pinky to rest and you move your head rather than your hand. Can you see how I'm doing this? And and don't talk either. So you're moving your hand mostly. Oh, what am I like? I meant you're moving your head mostly, not your hand. Sorry about that. Now, what you're going to see now is I'm filling it in. Obviously, I'm moving my hand now because I'm just filling in. But I'm talking about when you're outlining your lips. So you move your head rather than your hand. You do move your hand a little bit, but you're moving your head, and that way you can keep your hand steady and the line steady. I hope that makes sense. Okay, thank you. Now, incidentally, if you put any lip liner underneath all the way, across your lips, it will help your lipstick last longer. So it's always a good thing to do anyway. But obviously, I have to do this because it was the mixture of the 2 lipsticks that matched my scooter. So now I'm going in with Viva Glam 4. And that, my friends, is today's lipstick. Can you see how they eventually designed one to match in one? Maybe I started it. Take care, and I'll see you tomorrow for the next in my series of shiny red lip. Please don't forget to donate, if you can, to my Just Giving page. I messed this bit up, so it's text lips 18 followed by £, and what you wish to donate to 770. Thank you. All right, take care, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
Your photo on Instagram, please type #ShinyRedLip and or #AliemsBeauty. Looking forward to seeing your red lipstick for my mum.